City, the hub of American engines and cars. But the horsepower you'll see today exceeds anything coming out of these factories. As NBC Sports presents the U.S. Hot Rod, Mud, and Monster Truck Racing Super Challenge. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Silverdome here in Pontiac, Michigan, which is normally the home of the National Football League Detroit Lions, but not this afternoon. This afternoon, it's the home of the U.S. Hot Rod, Mud, and Monster Truck Racing Super Challenge. And here to help me call all the action is Jerry Devine. And Jerry, besides noisy, what is it that makes this such an exciting event?
Well, the U.S. Hot Rod Association sanctions over 200 of these events every year across Canada, the United States, and around the world.
But there's got to be something special about it, that they're able to put 60,000 to 70,000 people in an arena like this.
Well, that's right. It's the competition, the color, and the action. And we're going to see plenty of it this afternoon.
Now, there are 4 different races we're going to see today?
That's right. We're going to see Monster Trucks racing. We're going to see the super modified mud bog racers. Then we're going to see Demolition Derby and, of course, 2 world record attempts with Spanky Spangler.
Well, during that time, we will be up in the announce booth, but down here on the track during the course of the action is Brett Kepner, and he's over by Bigfoot.
Well, thank you, Ahmad. You know, the phenomenon of monster truck racing has definitely taken the country by storm since its origins back in 1973 when a gentleman from St. Louis, Missouri named Bob Chandler decided to draw a little bit of attention to his four-wheel drive truck business. He created the original monster truck, and he named it Bigfoot. Now, nearly 2 decades later, that same name is still at the forefront of this incredible form of motorsports. In recent years, however, the Bigfoot team has received more and more challenges from the ever-growing number of monster truck competitors on the national tour. This event should be the ultimate showdown for these types of vehicles. Back to you, gentlemen.
All right, our first event we're going to see is the Monster Trucks head-to-head competition. They will race over 8 cars. Notice Rocket Truck fell into some good fortune. In the qualifying round, speed counted for something. Rocket was able to advance because he had the fastest time of a loser.
Well, all the kings are here. First round coming up.
As we get set for our first race, remember it's the fastest one to the finish, and the course takes them over 8 cars. In lane 1, Rob Fuchs, driving First Blood. He's 29 years old from Woodstock, Illinois, and he's been driving for 4 years, driving a 1990 Ford that's valued at $80,000. In lane 2, 32-year-old Andy Brass driving Bigfoot, probably the most recognized name in monster truck racing. We had a chance to visit the home of Bigfoot. What began as a hobby for owner Bob Chandler has turned into a gold mine. Bigfoot is now a multi-million-dollar business who planted his roots in 1974, and the tree has grown. This vehicle is one of 8 Bigfoot trucks which compete nationally. On any given weekend, a Bigfoot truck could be racing in 5 different cities and roughly 80% of the time winning. Every Monday, the trucks converge in Bob Chandler's garage in St. Louis to get fine-tuned for the following weekend's show. Chandler's staff of over 50 employees work to get this bigger-than-life star on the road and in good health. And Bigfoot truly is a star. With 6 first-run movies under its chassis, Bigfoot definitely has its fans. That contingent includes fans internationally. And wrestling Sergeant Slaughter is also included amongst his fans. Sergeant Slaughter with his team, the Battle Battalion, was matched up in a tug-of-war against Bigfoot.
It's going to be quite an
But Bigfoot's competition today is from other monster trucks. Challengers like Fred Schaefer's Barefoot are making each race tougher to win. So now we will see how Bigfoot fares in today's races, starting with the first round.
Well, Bigfoot is one of the most sophisticated monster trucks out here this afternoon. Christmas tree start. Here we go. Let's watch him. Bigfoot on his way. Lots of air. He's through it. And a great race for Bigfoot.
Not only a sophisticated car, but a very fast one. Let's take a look at the replay.
All right, on the replay, you can see Bigfoot getting off just a little bit to the left, coming down kind of hard on that left front tire, but he's okay and he will advance.
And we will now advance to our second race. It pits Taurus against Kodiak. Taurus in lane 1, Kodiak in lane 2.
Taurus just recently beat Bigfoot at the Houston Astrodome.
Taurus is driven by Jack Willman, who's 26 years old. He's from Madison, Illinois, and he's been driving since he was 14, so none of this is very new to him. Now, Kodiak is driven by Mark Bindler, also 26. He's from Wauwatosa, Wisconsin.
All right, we're on our way, and look at Taurus go. Beat him by nearly half a track. He wants to get into the finals. He gets a good launch, but notice how much time he spends in the air. He nearly clears all of the cars, but that extra time in the air could cost you the race.
Well, you mentioned that Taurus did, in fact, beat Bigfoot earlier this year, and it looks like he has that same thing on his mind now. We're now ready for our third heat. It will be Excalibur in lane 1 going against Rocket in lane 2.
All right, both drivers are ready to go. They're watching that Christmas tree. Just one yellow and then a green.
Excalibur is driven by Chuck Pockin from Toledo, Ohio. He's 29 years old. And Rocket will be driven by Dale Boucher, 22 years old, from Santa Ynez, California.
All right, they're just about ready to throw the switch in the Christmas tree. Watch him, a good launch. Excalibur maybe with just a few feet, and that might have won him the race. Excalibur advances into the next round.
Jerry, it appears that the start is so important.
Well, it certainly is, because it's the first one to the finish line in monster truck racing that takes the win. Look at the height on both of these cars. Excalibur getting off just a little bit to the left, and look at this. I thought maybe he was going to go right over on his nose. Clearing 8 cars. Can you imagine that? A total racing distance of 150 feet.
It appears that the driving expertise comes in when they come down out of the air. Our next heat features Barefoot, driven by Fred Schaefer. He's 43 years old, from Pontoon Beach, Illinois. Been driving for 13 years. Now, he will apparently race alone because Star Monster, driven by Danny Tassone, had some sort of a breakdown.
That's right. He broke apart in the drivetrain right after qualifying, and he was given a period of time in order to fix it, but he was not able to make it to the line. So a bye-run, a single run for Fred Schaefer and Barefoot.
That is called an easy ride through the park right there.
But by the rules of the U.S. Hot Rod Association, they have to make the run.
Now, this is what the matchups look like for the semifinals. Bigfoot will go against Taurus. Excalibur will go against Barefoot. Welcome back to the Pontiac Silverdome here in Pontiac, Michigan. I'm Ahmad Rashad, along with Jerry Devine and Brett Kepner. The excitement here is starting to mount as we get ready for an attempt by daredevil stuntman Spanky Spangler to break the world record. He will be trying to jump in a Honda Odyssey over 14 cars. Now, earlier today, Brett Kepner had a chance to talk to Spanky about his attempt.
I jumped the Honda Odyssey last week, and we jumped 12 cars. I didn't want to jump 13 because that's unlucky, so I figured I'd come here and jump 14. And what they might do is put 10 cars out there, but I'm going to jump the distance of 14 cars.
It's unbelievable, especially considering the fact that you'll be doing it with a leg that's already been broken in 2 places from stunts in the last month.
Yeah, we had a little problem with our seat belts last week, and they gave loose and fell to the dash when I did a car drop, and I broke my leg. But we have that corrected for sure, and we're wearing 2 seat belts tonight for the car drop, and we're going to break another record doing that also.
Spanky Spangler here today will attempt 2 world records. This will be the first. And the thing that concerns me is this short runway.
Well, that's right. The approach to the actual jump is only 300 feet. He has to back way up into the tunnel of the Silverdome. And I believe we've got another drive power. And he has to hit about 55 miles an hour in that 300 feet. This is a stock 1985 Honda 350cc Odyssey. The machine itself only weighs 450 pounds. They've added wire mesh in front of the vehicle to protect the driver from debris, and they've also had to balance the vehicle.
Now, as Spanky Spangler makes his practice runs at the ramp. We do have a medical staff at the ready just in case.
Now, the ramp angle is critical since the vehicle is still a little heavy in the front. And here he comes. He's coming down that 300-foot approach. I think he's going to make it this time. He's up and over. He did it. He did it, Ahmad.
Spanky Spangler has set a new world record here at the Pontiac Silverdome by jumping over 14 cars. Not only did he break the world's record, but he did it rather easily, clearing this by more than 20 feet. Let's go down to Brett Kepner, who's with a happy Spanky.
Spanky, that was absolutely incredible. You tried so hard to get a better world record than you previously had, and that was by far the most perfect jump you've ever made in one of these things.
Yeah, it was the best jump I've ever made. I made 14 jumps, and that was the best jump I've ever done. Well, the launch coming off, I was trying to line up. I had to make sure that I get all 4 wheels, that they don't bounce coming off the ramp. I got a real good lift off. The ramp absorbed a lot of the energy, so it's just real nice trying to stop before I get to the wall. Last week I was in the wall.
The nicest part about it was seeing your right side up. That was the best part.
Yeah, now there's one more.
That's right. I know you got one more stunt, of course, the falling star. Now, one thing I want to ask you is, how does your leg feel? That still was a lot of abuse on that leg.
Yeah, we got to pat it up. I got a good team here. I got quite a few guys here. I got 8 guys here. I got a good crew. And they looked out after me, and they patted me up real well, so everything worked great.
So you're feeling okay for the drop?
Yeah.
We'll see you then, guy.
Okay, thank you.
You heard it there. Spanky Spangler is not through yet. He will attempt another world record in the car drop coming up later. But first, the Demolition Derby. Now, the last 4 cars running in this heat advance to the final. For more on that, let's go down to Brett Kepner.
You know, you'd think by looking at one of these U.S. Auto Association National Championship Demo Derbies that there's a rule somewhere that says you have to run an AMC product. Believe it or not, that's the vehicle of choice for most of the U.S. Auto Association National Event Tours. They say that these early model Ramblers, especially the Gremlins and Spirits, stay together longer, and indeed the Spirits really don't even rust in the fatigue areas. So when you see these Ramblers out here, there's a reason they keep on rambling. Back to you, Ahmad.
Well, here is a list of the competitors in this final heat. And the strange thing about this whole thing is that there is some strategy, aren't there?
Well, there certainly is. This is kind of like automotive chess. What you want to do is protect the front end of the car, which has the radiator in it. That's why you're going to see most of these cars backing up. And of course, what they want to do is crush any part of the car and knock the car out of the competition. The 4 remaining cars left running will go into the final.
Right there in car number 28 is a lady driver, Connie Limmer. She's 35 years old, from Detroit, Michigan, has 2 kids, and she said her boyfriend got her involved in the sport, and she does it to really release her frustrations.
Well, there's a lot of drivers whose frustrations are going to be released this afternoon. You'll notice the checkered flags on these vehicles. That shows that the car is still in competition. Once the car is out, it won't run anymore, the driver will break that off. That puts him out of competition.
Car number 309 is Ray Rocheleau. He's from Pontiac, Michigan. Strangely enough, his occupation is a mechanic. Now, it seems to me the key was just stay off on the side and don't run into anybody.
You can't do that. There's about 12 officials around the track. Of course, they're all equipped with fire extinguishers in case there would be a fire. But they also have stopwatches. There is a 1-minute time period between the time that you stop and you hit the next car. If you go over that, you're disqualified. So you have to keep in competition at all times.
Is this a dangerous sport? Is there a chance of injury here?
Well, it is an automotive sport. It is a racing sport, but you can see that they're all wearing crash helmets, seat belts. They've taken all the glass out of the vehicles, and they've even moved the fuel tanks into the center of the car with this much smaller gas tank.
So I guess the key is just to have a good chiropractor and you're ready. There you see Connie Limmer.
Well, it looks like she is in trouble.
Well, her car's still going, though. She's doing okay.
It's remarkable how long these cars will run, and with the radiators gone, you can imagine that the gauges are all pinned off to one side, that the heat is just playing hectic with the engines. The radiator's completely gone. Some of the oil pans are gone. The tires are off them, and the red flag is up. Looks like we're down to our final 4.
And one of those final four will be Connie Limmer, the 35-year-old from Detroit. She said her boyfriend got her started in this demolition derby, and she is really excited. And here's a look at our other finalists from this heat. Woody Sequin, Debbie George, and Ray Rocheleau. They advance to the final, and they will go against 8 other drivers. Here's Brett Kepner.
Detroit's finest Connie Wimmer standing next to me. What a happy winner in the first of the demolition derby heats. You played this game like a pro.
That's the first time I've ever been here. Second time here, first time in the feature, and I'm going to take it off.
I'll tell you what, obviously that finish will put you in the championship event in front of almost 60,000 people.
For my boyfriend and his best friend, I wouldn't be here.
That's the way this sport always is. It's a family and friend effort.
In the third heat, he's going to get feature, and we're going to do each other.
Oh, okay. Going to be girlfriend versus boyfriend. Connie's thrilled about it. Certainly a wild battle. Back to you, gentlemen.
Thanks, Brett. We'll look forward to that battle of the sexes in the final. On most Sundays during football season, this is what Pontiac Stadium looks like. Now, we decided to show you a little bit of the transition. For this event, they bring in 500 cubic yards of dirt, and they mix it with 12,000 gallons of water. We'll be back with mud racing right after this. Welcome back to the Silverdome here in Pontiac, Michigan. And as you can see, while the football team is away, mud racing has taken over the place. And that means that this beautiful car here has to race through the mud. And for more on that, let's go over to Brett.
The sport of super-modified mud racing includes some of the most powerful indoor motorsports machines in the world. But one thing keeps the competition on an even keel, includes the parity in this type of racing. It's these tires. They're restricted to 44-inch high maximum Department of Transportation approved street-legal tires, just like you could buy at your local tire store. But there's a loophole in even that standard. The teams can cut the tread on these tires to any design that they feel works best. And everybody in this type of competition has an idea as to which design is going to beat the opponent.
Now, the important thing here in this race is that these vehicles do not race against each other. They race against the clock.
That's right. Each lane is timed individually, and it's the fastest vehicles in each lane that advance into the next round.
Now for our first race in lane 1. It is Time Traveler, driven by Bud Thompson from Niles, Michigan. Time Traveler is a 1955 Thunderbird, valued at $20,000. He will be racing against Expect No Mercy in lane 2, driven by Todd Marion. He's from Jenison, Michigan.
Lane 1 is the farthest from us. Lane 2 closest to the camera. Here we go. Whoa, close one. Hang on, hang on, hang on. Oh, the Time Traveler spun it around. Time Traveler coming through the mud. Look at him fly through the mud. Almost goes out of bounds right there.
And there you have it, Time Traveler, with a time of 1.913. That will be the time to beat here. Remember, the top 2 times in each lane advance to the final.
Well, here's Expect No Mercy, and he has set the time standard at 2.002 in lane 2.
In case you're wondering how these machines come to a halt, they have a safety switch that kills the engine right at the end of the run. Now, for our second race, it will be Let's Boogie, driven by Tony Fierro in lane 1. He's 28 years old. And in lane 2, Steve DeLue driving Bodacious. He's 27. He's from Holland, Michigan.
Bodacious is a replica of a 58 Corvette with a Chevy motor. Flagman start, here we go. Oh, look at Bodacious. Wow. He really got on it.
And Bodacious was just that as he flew through the course. Now let's take a look at Let's Boogie, who made it through this course in a time of 2.424.
Not a real fast time, but he keeps on going. He's still in the program.
Let us remind you that these cars are not racing against each other. They are racing against time. The top 2 go to the finals. Now, Bodacious, Jerry, seemed to touch very little mud.
That's right, just skimming across the mud. This is the first supercharged motor and a time of 1.946.
Our next heat features American Made in lane 1. It's driven by Jeff Acker. This is a custom-made Jeep, and it's a little bit lighter because it has a hollow tube frame. He'll be going against Instant T, driven by Chad Miller, 22 years old. He's driving a 1927 Ford Roadster. And did I mention it's noisy in here?
Good start, but remember, both of these lanes are being timed individually. individually. Let's check the times now. Instant T got out first, but he got a little crossed up coming out of the starting line, and I think that might have cost him a 1/10 of a second.
His time, 2.303. Now let's look at American Made.
American Made with a good straight run and a time of 2 seconds flat.
Our next race features Mud Patrol in lane 1 and Mud Buster in lane 2. Driving Mud Patrol is the two-time champion, Tom Martin. 23 years old. He's from Portage, Indiana. He's been driving for 5 years, and he's driving a 1932 Ford Coupe. In Mud Buster is Mark Green, 33 years old, from Waukegan, Illinois. He will be driving a 1979 Jeep CJ2.
All eyes on the starting line. Flag about ready to go up. Here we go. Tom Martin and Mark Green. A great run. That has to be a great time for Tom Martin. Tom Martin is happy.
And the reason he's happy because he flew through this course in a time of 1.857, which is the fastest time here today.
Tom Martin very consistent. Here we go with Mudbuster, and his time 1.930.
And not a bad time, because at this point in the competition, that puts him in the semifinals in lane 1 with one of the 2 fastest times. The fastest times in lane 2 are Mud Patrol and Bodacious. Now for our next heat. In lane 1, it will be Ground Zero, driven by Jeff Sturkin. He's 25 years old, from Holland, Michigan. He'll drive a 1984 Chevy S10. And in lane 2, Roger Davis, driving the Silver Bullet, 27 years old. He's from El Dorado, Illinois. He will be driving a 1978 Chevy Love Truck.
Ground Zero gets the jump, but look at the Silver Bullet comes on fast. His interval time has got to be lower.
The Silver Bullet with an excellent run. With a time of 1.810, it is the fastest time today. It not only places him in the semifinals, but it knocks out Bodacious, who had a time of 1.946 earlier in the day. Now, as you've seen, anything can happen. We still have more racing. Coming up now in lane 1 is Bonkers, driven by Mike Camella. He's 26 years old, from Cleveland, Ohio. He'll be driving a 1988 Chevy S10. He goes against Michigan Off-Road, driven by Mark Watros. He's 30 years old, from Lansing, Michigan.
That's an 86 funny car, valued at over $75,000. Here we go. Look at the funny car. Wow, he brings it to a halt. Then the crowd loves this one.
Michigan with a fine time of 1.951. Bonkers with a time of 2.200. Both very fine times, but not good enough to make it into the semifinals. This is the way the semifinals will shape up. Lane 1, Mudbuster and Time Traveler. Lane 2, Mud Patrol and Silver Bullet. Our next event, the Demolition Final. Now, these are the finalists. Let me remind you that these are the same cars that they drove in the earlier rounds. They've just been repaired as much as possible, and here they go at it.
That's right, Ahmad, and of course the key element for these drivers is the pit crews. Pit crews have a tremendous job to put these machines back in running order. To do that, they use baling wire, duct tape, and they can put on new tires and pull the metal away from the tires so they don't burn up the tires anymore, but it's very, very tough job.
There you see car number 10. That's Frank Zimick. He has been racing for quite a while. He says he wrecks 25 cars a year. And there's Connie Limmer, one of our featured drivers in the earlier rounds. She looks to be in a little bit of trouble.
Well, her crew had a lot of trouble getting her car back in shape, but they've done an excellent job. Now, this is the final, and on this race, we're going to go right down so there's one car running.
It is amazing to me to see these cars in this condition still moving.
Well, that's right. We've all seen auto accidents and seen cars put out of commission, and these cars just keep on running.
Number 28, Connie Limmer. is pulling off the checkered flag, meaning that she is out of the competition.
And as these cars drop out, the running cars have to maneuver around them. So it becomes more difficult, and the competition becomes more keen. We want to keep an eye on car number 543, Patrick Zorn.
Also, car number 409 is Richard Connolly. He's the defending champion.
These two are going to go head-to-head. Looks like 409 might be having a problem right here.
And he is having a problem. There you see the timekeeper indicating to Connolly that he only has a set time to get his car started, or he is out of the race. There is the red flag. Connolly is out of the race, and you see a thumbs up from Patrick Zorn, who wins the Demolition Derby. Now, he has entered a few of these competitions in the past, but this is his first time ever being the champion. His hobbies, he says, anything that has anything to do with speed, he'll have to include crashing in that group. And Brett is with our winner.
Brett, congratulations. What a way to go. Taking out last year's winners, the very last man running. You just won the biggest demo derby in world indoor history. And obviously, everybody's happy for you.
I'm happy as heck right now. It's my first win ever here, anywhere, in fact. I've always taken second. It's my first win, and man, this is the greatest. Way to go, Rick. Way to go, boy.
That's right. Last year's winner, tremendous job making it this far this year, guy.
Thank you. Thank you very well.
This guy definitely gave you a battle down there.
Oh, yeah, he did. Sure enough. Mine got too hot. Beautiful run. Beautiful run.
Incredible job by both of you.
So congratulations to Patrick Zorn. Coming up next, Spanky Spangler will be suspended in this car from the top of the Silverdome and then dropped. And now the crane at the right-hand side of your screen is where Spanky Spangler, the daredevil stuntman, will be suspended for the falling star stunt. Now, the previous world record is 137.5 feet. Spangler will drop from 150 feet, which is actually 15 stories high. He'll reach speeds up to 70 miles per hour. Brett spoke with him earlier.
One of the scariest possible stunts for any professional to attempt is the infamous falling star initiated by this man, Spanky Spangler. Spanky, you're talking about the brunt or the negative G-forces of a 65-mile-per-hour impact straight down. It's got to be one of the wilder rides.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty wild ride. We're going to take this car up over 150 feet. The crane's up 170 feet. We're hanging below it right around 150 feet. We'll be traveling 67 miles an hour. And it's a pretty good impact. I'm going to take most of the impact on my right leg that I need, and the other is to have foam around the bottom of my cast to absorb some of that energy.
Now, is there any reason why he is in this Monte Carlo?
Yes, the Monte Carlo is used because of the large front end, and it's well balanced. It weighs a total of 3,600 pounds. The engine has been pulled out, and they've replaced it with 400 pounds of sandbags right in the front end where the engine would be, to help it drop straight down and to help absorb the energy on impact.
Speaking of impact, what is he falling into?
Well, they've put down 55-gallon drums, and then on top of that, they have placed 3 vans. And that's what he'll be falling into, not only to absorb the energy, but also to keep him in an upright position. He needs 9 feet of deceleration, and those vans help keep the car in an upright position. Impact at 67 miles an hour, he experienced 40 G's.
Now, as we wait for a sign from Spanky to make sure that he's all right, let's take another look at this drop.
It definitely comes straight down and right into those 3 vans. Great angle. The ground crew also uses ropes on either side to keep the vehicle from spinning. And look at all the thousands of flash bulbs.
No one wanted to miss that moment. And there is Spanky Spangler, triumphant in setting a new world record 150-foot drop. And the crowd here showing their appreciation. And Spanky is down with Brett.
2 perfect jumps. Congratulations, guy. You couldn't have done it any better.
Thank you. I've been doing stunts for over 20 years. I've only been hurt twice. And both times, one was my fault because my seatbelts weren't tight enough.
And then last week, one of my seat belts did come apart. So this week we put double seat belts in it, and everything went real well.
Like I said, flawless. Definitely 2 world records for a world record competitor.
It's great. It's a great crowd here and everything. It's a good night for the stunt guy.
It sure is. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
And the excitement continues here at the Pontiac Silverdome as we are ready for the semifinals of the mud racing. Now in lane 1, Bud Thompson's time traveler with a qualifying time of 1.913. Roger Davis in the Silver Bullet in lane 2. He qualified with a time of 1.810.
Both drivers getting ready to go, bringing up the RPMs. Both drivers watching the flagman. Here we go. Semi-final. Silver Bullet, time traveler. Silver Bullet out the lead. He loses power. And the time traveler spins around.
Silver Bullet, just apparently something blew up in the engine, stopped halfway down the runway, and at that time, Time Traveler takes it through with a time of 2.073.
Well, there you see the Silver Bullet. Ignition problems plaguing the Silver Bullet. Lost the fire, lost the race.
All right, in our next semifinal, it's Mark Green's Mudbuster in lane 1. He qualified with a time of 1.930. He must better the time of 2.073. In lane 2, Tom Martin's Mud Patrol qualified with a time of 1.857. He just needs to finish.
Well, the Mud Patrol, the defending champion, way out in the lead. Look at this machine run, so consistent.
Tom Martin's Mud Patrol with a very fine run. Mudbuster does not advance to the final with a time of 2.940, and Mud Patrol cruises to the final with a time of 1.875. Coming up next, we will see Tom Martin in lane 2 and Bud Thompson in lane 1 for the final of mud racing. We are now getting set for the semifinal of monster trucks. Taurus and Bigfoot are pulling up to the line, and Taurus, being the underdog here, has something to prove.
That's right, he certainly does, because just a few weeks ago at the Houston Astrodome, Taurus did beat Bigfoot. Now, this is the new breed of monster truck. These are the racers. All tubular chassis, special suspensions, fiberglass bodies. They are fast, 9,000 minimum pounds.
Taurus will be in lane 1, driven by Jack Willman. Bigfoot in lane 2, driven by Andy Brass.
This ought to be a good race. The winner of this one goes into the final. Who's it going to be? Here we go. Oh, and it's Bigfoot. Bigfoot by about a fender.
Bigfoot, accepting the challenge from Taurus, gets a fantastic start, clears all the automobiles and flies through as the winner and moves into our final.
Andy Brass real happy as he goes into the finals now.
Now for our next semifinal, it's Excalibur in lane 1, driven by Chuck Pocken. And in lane 2, it's Fred Schaefer driving barefoot.
Both drivers coming to the starting line, getting ready to go. The winner of this one will face Bigfoot. A good even start. Fred Schaefer gets a great jump. Brings it down, tries to stop it. Oh, I thought he was going to hit the wall. Fred Schaefer, and look at the height that he has. He brings it down. He could have cleared 2 more cars. Fred Schaefer and Barefoot goes into the final.
So it'll be a classic matchup here. Barefoot versus Bigfoot when we come back. A few moments ago, we got a couple of brief comments from 2 finalists.
I'm happy. I'm real happy. And I really want to race Tom. He's one of the fastest there is. Yeah, I tell you, it felt real good. I'm looking forward for the finals. I think we can pull this one out.
It will be Bud Thompson in lane 1. His semifinal time was 2.073. And Tom Martin in lane 2. His semifinal time was 1.875.
Well, Tom Martin's got those red lights lit on top of his machine. That means he is about ready to go. Whoa, look at this! Tom Martin. And Tom Martin is real happy. Now watch Tom Martin. When he takes off the starting line, the torque is so great from that motor, it actually twists the frame, carrying that left front wheel. Now look again, the left front wheel hardly touching the track all the way down the course. 1.877.
Bud Thompson's final time was 2.117, so Tom Martin is our champion. Now, as we get set for the Monster Final, it'll be Fred Schaefer in lane 1 in Barefoot, going against Andy Brass in lane 2 in Bigfoot. But before we get started, let's go down to Brett, who has an interview with Tom Martin.
Tell you, you just proved why you're two-time world champion, and this was a big boost towards an unprecedented third world championship.
Hey, we're in the lead now, and we're not going to let them have it, I'll tell you.
Like I said, consistency was the name of the game. Enough horsepower to dominate, but not enough to mess up. Tremendous job.
I'm happy. That's all I got to say.
Congratulations. This is the guy that was two-time world champion. Now we're probably going to see another year of domination, but you just saw why. Back upstairs. Unbelievable.
Thanks, Brett. And as Jerry mentioned earlier, Tom Martin always consistent. And once again, a winner here. This is it, the classic matchup. Bigfoot versus Barefoot. This is the event that everyone came here to see.
It's the classic lineup with Ford against Chevrolet. And this is the view from inside of Bigfoot. Here we go. Both drivers bringing up the RPM. They're just about ready to go. Here we go. They're on their way. Look at the height of Barefoot. Bigfoot is the winner. Bigfoot takes the win.
Jerry, you mentioned the height on Barefoot, but it seemed like the speed of Bigfoot is what brought Bigfoot to the victory here.
That's correct. That time that he spent in the air of Barefoot cost him the race. Bigfoot went straight and right through across the finish line.
When we come back, we'll take a look at how the race looked from inside the cab of Bigfoot. We'll also have a winner's interview. The big showdown today was between Barefoot and Bigfoot was the ultimate winner. Red is down with the winning driver, Andy Brass.
People would easily say this is the biggest monster truck race of all time. Semifinals, you won by your starting line reactions alone on a hole shot. This one, you won by about 2 feet, 0.2 of a second, 328 to a losing 348. This thing killed them again.
That's right. Well, the Bosch Bigfoot Ford has been running real well tonight, you know. We did a lot of changes, trying some strategy out on the line, trying to do a few different things all night long, watching the other guys. And really, this shortest track as this has been, that really getting the guys off the line is the big thing here.
Without a doubt, another dominating event for the incredible Big Blue Ford. Andy Brass, congratulations, a phenomenal win.
Thank you, Brett. It's been really nice. You know, thanks to all the guys back at Ford, Bosch, made the truck real good, and all the guys back shop put it together in a hurry this week. We did an excellent job.
Unbelievable job, as it has been an incredible event. Back to you.
So there you have it. We have had thrills, spills, and all kinds of excitement. And now you see why this is one of the fastest growing motorsports in the world.
It certainly is. And we had all the excitement and the drama that you would see every time you come to one of these events.
Including some exceptional stunts, huh?
Certainly was. And great monster truck racing.
That's right. Well, I've enjoyed myself. So for Brett Kepner and Jerry Devine, I'm Ahmad Rashad saying so long, everybody.